Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Oilfields Trade Union posted yesterday and said, excellent meeting between the Minister of Labour, the Honorable Leroy Batiste, and the OWTU President General and the leader of the Joint Trade Union Movement, Comrade Ansel Roger, along with the trade union leaders, JTUM. The process to implement the workers' agenda has begun. That's what they have announced. Hope is not coming. It has arrived, and therefore that definitely shows that certain agreements have begun to materialize. All these trade unions had certain concerns, whether it's about wages and whatever, and therefore we have to give what? Credit once again to the Kamla Persad administration. More than 200 former Caroni 1975 limited workers were granted long-awaited land leases on August 12th, ending a 22-year wait. That is really an extremely long wait for 2-acre agricultural plots and residential lots in the Picton area in South Trinidad. The distribution ceremony took place at the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts, SAPA, in San Fernando, under the theme Rooted in Resilience. Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar delivered the feature address reflecting on the closure of the sugar producing company in 2003 under the then PNM government. I was going to say certain things, but then I remember I'm on a different platform here, so I have to be careful of what I'm saying. Which he said had devastated livelihoods and communities across the country. Basically what I would have said anyhow. On August 13th, 2025, Mr. Randall Karim, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and Head of the Foreign Service, led a Trinidad and Tobago delegation to the 9th round of consultations between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China and the Ministries of Foreign Affairs of the Caribbean community countries that have diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, also known as the China-Caribbean Consultations. Well, of course, we all know that China is an economic superpower, so definitely nothing is wrong in having diplomatic and trade relations with that country. The Desalination Company of Trinidad and Tobago, DELSACOT, has advised WASA of its planned annual shutdown of the Point Lisas desalination plant to facilitate maintenance work. The shutdown is scheduled to take place from next Monday, August 18th to Sunday, August 24th. So that's a whole week. This is in keeping with the announcement made last month that following collaborative discussions with WASA and the Ministry of Public Utilities, DELSACOT agreed to adjust its maintenance to take place in August as opposed to varying times in either the month of September, October, or November, as occurred in previous years. Probably that is good anyhow, because remember, school reopens in September. Water should be distributed throughout Trinidad and Tobago while school is open. I'm just saying that is probably one of the reasons. I'm not saying that's the only reason. The DELSACOT owned and operated plant provides 40 million gallons daily to WASA, which is used to supply the Point Lisas industrial estate, as well as augment the supply to areas in central and south Trinidad. To mitigate the efforts of this supply shortfall on operations, the authority will implement the following measures during the period of the shutdown. Redistribution of supply from the Caroni and Navet water treatment plants. You know what's going to happen there? Probably we're not going to get water on a daily basis anymore. But, I mean, it has to be done, right? Implementation of temporary supply schedules. This will be published on social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp channel, and X, which is formerly known as Twitter. Ensure capacity storage at critical service reservoirs prior to the shutdown. Increased water trucking capacity. Definitely will need that. Special emphasis and arrangements to supply health institutions, homes for the aged, and other special needs organizations. But of course, we have the UNC in government now, and therefore, we can rest assured that most likely this will be undertaken in a much more responsible manner than in the past. Now for some regional news, starting off with Guyana. Construction of Hampshire solar farm nearing completion. Work is advancing rapidly at the 3MWP Hampshire solar farm in Berbice. Once completed, the facility will supply renewable energy to the national grid, enhancing generation capacity within the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system. Of course, more development, more advancement under what? Or under whom? Or under who? The Irfaan Ali administration. The tilapia hatchery at Timehri Prison has once again proven to be fruitful, as it has produced close to 148 pounds of red tilapias on Monday. I saw a picture of it. They look quite delicious. On Monday, August 1st, 2025. The initiative was undertaken by both staff and female inmates of the prison to provide another source of food for the general prison population. Well, I love fish. I don't love prison, but I love fish. You can send some in Trinidad. The initiative was undertaken by both staff and I read that already. Director of Prisons, Nicklon Elliott, said the project demonstrates the prison service effort in finding more ways to help prisoners develop or discover new skills and talents. Now, this is a wonderful report, and it had people online that were saying, "Oh, but why it is we should be rearing these fish in captivity when you could be catching them in the wild." Oh gosh, you want to go and catch it in the wild? Go ahead. That is your choice. Nothing is wrong with this at all. Especially it's a project in the prisons. What you want them to do instead? But as I said, this is a different platform, so I shall keep my opinions very limited and very clean, extremely clean. Okay. What is the crop insurance scheme? The crop insurance scheme, recently launched by HE President Dr. Irfaan Ali, is a model where the government will subsidize financing of premiums under a supplemental coverage option through a partnership with Indian agrochemical company United Phosphorus Limited (UPL) and the United States Philip Morris International (PMI). This 3-year pilot program, which is likely to continue, was developed as a means of mitigating risk to local rice farmers, given that emphasis is being placed on diversifying Guyana's economy so that agriculture continues to play a key role in the country's development. You see, Guyana is using their wisdom. Irfaan Ali is using his wisdom. As much as Guyana has now been blessed with oil, which definitely enriches our nation, they are making sure to continue focusing on agriculture as well. Food sustainability, people, and also you will be able to export and generate revenue, foreign revenue that way. Who will benefit? The crop insurance scheme is expected to benefit approximately 6,000 registered farmers across the country who are most vulnerable to crop loss caused by extreme weather events such as flooding and drought. To highlight young people making a positive difference in their communities, the Commonwealth Secretariat recently opened nominations for the 2026 Commonwealth Youth Awards for Excellence in Development Work. Managed by the Commonwealth Youth Program, the awards, popularly known as the Commonwealth Youth Awards CYA, recognize outstanding young change makers are aged between 15 to 29 from 56 member countries who demonstrate impactful projects that support the achievement of the SDGs. Of course, that will encourage the youths to stay on the right path, which is good in my opinion. At least I'm hoping so. From Jamaica news, with ground broken for Jamaica's tallest planned resort, the $700 million US Moon Palace, Grand Montego Bay on Monday. The development's most talked about feature is not in its blueprints. It is the US $5 million Palace Resorts. It is the US $5 million Palace Resorts will put into housing, education, and public recreation for the surrounding community. So, of course, it means that it will benefit the residents of that area. 17 Jamaicans have been awarded chevening scholarships to pursue master's degrees at universities in the United Kingdom and the UK, the largest cohort from Jamaica in recent years. Funded by the UK government, chevening scholarships provide full financial support for the postgraduate study and access to a global network of more than 60,000 alumni worldwide. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has distributed 70 land titles to the residents of Norwood, St. James, a continuation of the administration's push to formalize land ownership and give families lasting security of tenure. Holness stressed that official land titles change lives. Once again, that is something good, people. So as much as I'm not sure which political party should be supported in Jamaica, to me, this once again is yet another news report that highlights some positive decisions that are being made under Andrew Holness' administration. In some international travel information, it's not really news, but information. While most cities often require you to leave town to find nature, in Seattle, sleepless in Seattle, it's built right in. Aptly named the Emerald City, it boasts over 6,000 acres of parks and an urban forest. Wow, wonderful. With over 4 million trees. Wow. Damn. National Geographic photographer Aaron Huey recently revealed the thriving nature in the city, which he calls home. From green spaces to plenty of water activities by saltwater, lakefronts, and even tidal beaches. I believe probably all other states and all other cities should do likewise. That definitely will help to improve the atmospheric, content, oxygen levels and whatsoever in their cities. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news headlines. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please continue to like, comment, share. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.